I realized two things the other day. One, routine is simply extra transformed. And two, to make that transformation, I just need to focus on one tiny thing at a time. Let me explain how this played out. It happened to be a day where I was sapped. I woke up just spent, like I didn't have it in me to do anything. Not ill, really, just nothing in the tank. And I mean, I barely had the drive to do the most basic stuff, let alone anything above and beyond. Now, I have a very solid morning routine, one that I've built so deeply, I really don't even have to think about it. You just do it. Like you just brush your teeth in the morning. There's no real deciding, should I or shouldn't I? It just is. I've done this for many years. On this particular day, I actually was questioning whether I should or not do even the basics, like every step of the way for my morning fitness routine. It's my thing to get it done every morning, and it's also just my thing to always throw in a little bit more than what I schedule for myself. Head games, you know. So if I plan for 50 reps of something, I like to do 51. An hour of cardio planned, I do 61 minutes. 20 minutes of stretching, I do 21, etc. Anyway, on this day, I didn't even want to do the minimum I had scheduled. I even started that little internal battle thing. Okay, I'm doing this, fine, I'll do it. Maybe I can just do a little less. Instead of an hour of this thing, maybe just 45 minutes. Or, I've been able to knock out this part in half the time I normally do. Maybe I just need to cut a few corners. I even got to the point where I was contemplating calling in sick and crawling back into bed. I'm telling you, I had nothing. I finally settled on, okay, I'll do all my basic routine stuff, but I'm not doing anything extra, dang it. I finally fought my way through it all, but I wasn't happy about it. Until later in the day, of course. In the midst of this nothing special about the day struggle, I noticed something. There are days where I feel I can't give anything extra, but I somehow still muster the energy to do the 1,000 basic routine things. Well, at one point, those 1,000 things were extra, and I ultimately made them part of the non-negotiation category. If I was able to transform those into routine, there's no reason I couldn't do that with other above and beyond tasks. Okay, great. So how does that work from a tactical perspective? Like, how do I make that happen today with, say, the emails I need to send but don't want to, or the not so fun meetings I need to be present for? Here's how I do it. To get me through the tasks or routines I've identified as important to me, but maybe I don't have the motivation to do today, I trick myself by saying I'll only do a small portion of the thing to get me started. If you recall, that's the tactic I was using on myself for the morning workout. So I'm only going to send one email, or I'll attend just one meeting, or I'm only doing one set of push-ups, etc. That's the point, to start. Then, somewhere along the way, I kick it up a gear and complete my full set of tasks, or at least most of them. And even if I do end up only doing one, well, that's one more than if I hadn't done any. Let me reiterate, just do the first step, only that one thing. Then for me, usually it's like, okay, well, I'm already here, I'm doing this, might as well keep going. Then I blink and it's all done. These head games are what get me through lots of unpleasant tasks. It's something I've always termed evolution completion. It's how we got through some specialized training I did in the Air Force. Get through this evolution of the training event, only think about completing that and nothing else. And I mean nothing else. Then, once you get through this tiny bit, change your focus to the next evolution and nothing else. So on and so forth. Before you know it, it's all done. I guess it's compartmentalization of focus, directing your attention solely on the task in front of you, ignoring everything else to include time and especially any future tasks. If you fall prey to splitting up your focus, even just a little bit, to the 15 different difficult tasks you must complete before the day is over, you can easily get overwhelmed and end up maybe getting none of them done. It's normal to look at the full list of to-dos for the day and say, that's just too much. But we can often handle doing one of the to-dos by saying, I'm only doing this one single task today and nothing more. For most of us, once we complete that one task, we can more easily move on to another using the same analogy. I'm only doing this one thing today, and on and on. Yeah, I play a lot of head games with myself to get through some tough days. But afterwards, I always feel satisfied for having completed what I set out to do. When climbing to the top of a list of tasks, it's best to take one step at a time. And back to my initial point about transforming extra into routine. Actually, I've just explained how to do that. Do one little bit of extra whatever and only focus on that little bit, nothing else, until you complete it. Then move on to the next evolution. Before you know it, those little tiny extras will have become routine. And if they pay off for you as effective in achieving your personal goals, you'll likely keep them as routine. Then you'll add more extras. Whenever I study successful people, they all have this trait in common. What most consider extra, they call routine.